Hi, Rich from Mustangs to Fear.
And I'm Michelle.
Today we're going to show you how we install our patch panel. Now this is what we use on all of our builds, and we use old air exclusively for this. So this won't work for vintage air or some of the other units out there because we made this strictly for old air. So the first thing that we do is we get the patch panel up where the original hole is. Now this is a 3 7/8 hole, and that's what size of the gasket is that comes with old air. So what we want to do on these is we want to measure these over 1 inch. So take a tape measure, take the existing hole where it was at, right there, and we're literally just going to move this over 1 inch. That's all we're going to do. And then we're going to mark it with our Sharpie. So you can see I've already got a silver line on this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come down anywhere from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. So if you look at a flange tool, and the depth of it, if you measure this, that's really right at about a 1/2 inch. So that's what we're going to be using. So like I said, you can go a little less than that. If you want to do 3/8, you can always grind back if you have to, but basically look at a 1/2. So you can measure this all the way around with a tape measure, or you can just grab something that's actually a 1/2 inch wide and get down here and get your measurement. Now if you notice on a 65/6, we've got 2 ridges in here. This thing runs all the way down through here. 7/8 doesn't have that. So if you look close, you can see I've made an incision on the top and bottom. And what I'll wind up doing is once I cut this out, I'll just hammer and dolly this thing down completely flat. So it'll be smooth all the way across here. I'll weld that, and then that'll work out pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'll put all my protection on, so you'll make sure you've got eye and ear protection whenever you're doing anything like this, okay? Okay, now it's time to start doing some cutting. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Okay, now I'm going to flange this thing all the way around. Corners sometimes we can't get in with this, so we do have a set of flanging vice grips. It does the exact same thing, you just have to squeeze it, but it'll allow you to get into the corners just a little bit tighter. So let's start flanging this thing. This is where the fun begins. Now if you'll notice, I dollied those ridges down. So they're completely flat. I had a little bit of the heater hose up here. I just trimmed that part off because the cover's going to cover all that up. And it's going to be welded, and you're going to grind and blend and fill this and everything. So that just shows you that this is down flat like it should be. So it'll have the same radius all the way across when I'm done. Same as down there. See, that's completely flat now. So that's what you want on 65/6. 7/8, they're actually a lot easier to do. 65/6 just has that bump in it. So here we go. We're doing a little flanging right now. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you've got it up as far so it bottoms out on the edge. And you see how tight that kind of gets into the corner there? It's a little tight for me. That's why we'll use those vice grips. Get right into there. Try to keep it straight. You can tell if you don't have it straight. You'll see how it imprints it. You can go right back over it. See, like a little bit of a little step off right there? I can go right back over that, push my tool in a little tighter. See how that straightened that right up? Down the bottom. Right over the part that I made the incision. Won't hurt it a bit. Got a radius in there. Back over on the sides. Just double checking everything, make sure I'm getting it good. This might have to go in a little bit, so I can bend it with this. And I'll kind of sneak in here on the corners a little bit with the pliers. I can get in there just a little bit tighter with these. Okay. Oops. Sometimes they're a little tough to get in the corners. Okay. Now, all right, so what we normally use, and most people use, is weld-through primer. We don't have good luck with weld-through primer. I don't care what brand it is. This is a Smart brand. We just kind of started using that just a little bit. What seems to actually work the best for us is the DTM by the same company. They make various different brands of the weld-through primers. You've got Napa has some and U-Pole has some, but every one of them, it seems like when we're using them, the welder just wants to splatter real bad. Unless you want to go back in each one of your, if you're plug welding, go back and scrape each one of those holes, then it works fine. But this seems to be working best for us, even with resistant welder, where we're welding two pieces of metal together with resistance. It welds absolutely perfect. We don't have any issues with it. So that's up to you which way you want to try it, but this is a good brand right here. Is a Smart brand SMT 3931. So the next thing we'll do is we'll get the patch panel in place where we want it, and then we're going to end up drilling some holes in this, and I'm going to wind up probably putting Clecos in this one here. So I've already got this primed, so the next thing I would do, I'd actually go back and prime this, then we'd put the Clecos in. And then what you're going to want to do is actually just start tack welding it in small spots. You might have to trim this down a little bit. You might want to round these radiuses just a little bit more to get that to fit. But once that's in with your Clecos and you start welding it, then you're pretty much done. And then we'll move on to the other part of the video where we're going to show you with this plate that we make now that we're replacing what old air uses. So that's on the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. Easiest way to do it is take a washer, center that back over where you just marked it. Okay? Just like that. Now take your Sharpie and go around the outside of this washer. And the reason why you're doing that is because that washer is about the same size as diameter of the elevator stud that you're going to weld on. So then you can put your elevator stud right up here and weld all four of them in place, and then you're ready to go. If you have to open this hole up, any of these just a little bit so it will slide on, it won't be in a bind, then that's not a big deal. The reason why we did it, because the factory one that comes with it, the nuts are designed to go clear through on the inside. So, you know, a lot of guys out there, they've got great big huge pickle fingers. Well, there's just no way they're going to fit up in there to get those nuts started. Now, I've got a little smaller finger, so I could sneak right up there. But for the average guy, this makes this a whole heck of a lot easier to just sneak up on the outer edge and get that started. So next we'll show you how this plate actually goes on the airbox itself. Now, this is the plate that comes on the unit itself. The way they had theirs designed is they have studs coming through here, and then that would come through your firewall. So that would look pretty ugly, having four big studs sticking through there. So this is the reason why we do the elevator studs on the inside. So I've already taken the four mounting bolts out, so we're simply going to remove that. Now you'll notice theirs is also welded on. Well, to keep our costs down to you, the consumer, we don't weld them on. But we figure you're probably smart enough to slip those on there, like so, and take our plate, going the right direction, and then we will start the bolts. This is where a second hand comes in handy. You don't have to have a second hand, but I try to take advantage of it all the time.
Helps to have an assistant.
Oh, it does. It does. It does. Yes. A low cost, low budget assistant.
Yeah, especially one that works for free.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. Next.
One more.
One more. I'll put this one in myself.
Yeah.
So then all you got to do is tighten those down. Your elevator studs are already welded to the inside, and so when you go to slip this in, that'll make that real easy to get on the back side. Start those nuts and you're good to go. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.